支払ってもらおうかな。
Anime creatures squirting and splooging bodily fluids all over the place is not exactly uncommon. You see, anime specimens are known to shoot out all sorts of liquids and fluids of different textures, colors, and viscosities. However, there is one that is produced in excess, to the point of absurdness. When the anime specimen in question is aroused, usually, that I so desperately wanted to understand why and how. The fluid, known by the entire world as it resides in all meaty organisms, including yourself, erythrocytes, more commonly known as red blood cells, or simply blood, sometimes shot out, or even sometimes dripped out, is exuded by these anime creatures, mostly when aroused, as stated previously. So already we understand the why, but we are yet to understand how. It's worth noting that 3D beings, such as yourself, are not ones to have this happen to them, and to be completely truthful, it's practically impossible for 3D humans to be capable of this. But why? I had so many anomalies flowing in my head, but as with most things, I wasn't stumped for too long. You see, I believe, and through much thought, research, supreme genius, and stoic tenacity and fortitude, to consider the answer to this kerfuffle to be the blood. The blood is the key to this. How? Permit me to explain. You see, the reason 3D creatures can't shoot out heaps of blood out of their nose and are not able to shoot out blood similar to a water fountain is due to the thickness. The blood is too thick. The blood of anime creatures is way more thinner. I discovered this after researching the viscosity of blood, and it turns out those who have thin blood tend to bleed way more and tend to have a slower rate of wound blood clotting. This would explain the frequent and ridiculous amounts of blood being shot out oh so generously. Thin blood, in part, is due to the body not producing enough platelets. Platelets being small, colorless cells that are responsible for clotting the blood so that you don't lose heaps of it. As you can imagine, losing large amounts of blood is not particularly ideal for staying alive. Anime specimens seem to be fine though, you may suggest. But you see, that is where my next anomaly to decipher began. Then I came across polycythemia vera, a condition in which the body begins to produce too many red blood cells, and this can cause the blood to thicken and clot. However, I reasoned if the body were to produce too much blood, and at the same time doesn't produce enough platelets, then quite possibly we have the answer to our question. However, we are not done yet, as I'm sure you're wondering how somebody can spew gallons of this tangy colored blood fluid by simply getting flustered and disorientedly aroused by an anime woman. How is that possible? Well, you see, we are not dealing with a simple 3D human. We are dealing with a 2D specimen, a strange entity with all the underlying conditions, and if we were to factor that into the overall dilemma, we can then start to formulate an answer, as it is very simple. You see, when a person gets aroused, their heart rate increases, more blood gets pumping. Creatures like these are not only prone to leak blood in excess, but they also have an excessive amount of blood being produced constantly. With so much blood pumping due to arousal, that blood's gotta go somewhere. Why not the orifices just above the dainty mouth? It's so tantalizing, yet so jarringly simple. My last conceivable piece of evidence to back this theory is involving the very construct of 2D creatures. These creatures are 2D, meaning they have no depth. So in theory, their blood is not only thinner due to the actual cumulative evidence, but also due to the very genetic dimensional construct in which they are built of. Why can't you bleed like they can when a person tugs at your lust strings? Well, simply because you are not anime or a two-dimensional being, and or have those specific medical conditions. And with that, if you guys enjoyed this video, theoretically if you have watched this far, then you do enjoy my videos, feel free to possibly press that like button. Subscribe, share this with your neighbor, high school teacher, and your wife. Share this with anybody that you wish to spread my knowledge to. And always remember to do everything purely and solely and only for the purpose of science and the pursuit of knowledge. And, I'd like to answer another question not even scientists can answer.